Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Alright. I seen your man somewhere before, yo.
Oh,
You
yeah.
introduced me to?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where. Hey, you guy?
I forget where he played college basketball. His wife played college basketball. He's from Fairfax. I've known them for
I seen that cat on the scene somewhere. It just looked too familiar.
yeah. His daughter, she had some offers
Oh
to play
yeah?
college basketball. She said she don't want to play.
You know what's becoming a pretty decent weapon for them? They're going for a defense diamond and deny first pass. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing that badly with that, bro. It changed the game.
And could have done it more if you had more.
More cats.
Right.
Yeah, you can't do it all the time.
Everyone get a box?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're all good.
Thanks. I know you gave me one yesterday. That's the song on my all off my foot. Okay. It was one for six, I think.
First half, they were 0 for 7, and then Mac made the 3 at the end.
They were 0 for 7 in per day?
They were 0 for 7 until Mac hit the
Until
one.
now, okay.
Flipped them.
So they were 1 for 8 in the.
So they were 1 for 8.
Okay.
They missed the first set.
He's one of the ones that also, when I used to go to ringside to see fights, he went to a handful of them.
Boxing.
Yeah, so like for his birthday,
What kind of golden gloves or professional?
like Canelo, same guy.
Oh, y'all flew to him like that.
I don't think so. He used to go out with him.
You saw early Mayweather or running don't get hit Mayweather?
I saw him against De La Hoya. I saw him against Mosley. I saw him against Hatton.
Hatton was that hitting? Was he hit?
All of those are after he hurt his hands.
Oh, okay, so he was I mean, which is great boxing, but it's just not exciting
I
all
tell
the
people
time.
this all the time. People complain about that. And I always say, go watch Leonard Duran too. When Leonard got the biggest ring he possibly could
And ran around.
until
Oh,
Randy quit.
he did the same thing to my man.
Hasn't.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I know
and I'm a Leonard dude.
Yeah, so but when he fought Cotto, he stayed in
I
there.
bet you.
And he fought Cotto at 154, which is
Oh wow.
people don't understand
Big difference.
when they compare. And Mayweather never came in the ring over 150,
Really?
even when he fought at 154. You have to understand when Pacquiao fought those guys. Pacquiao always fought those guys at a catch weight. It was never at full dome. Because when he fought Cotto at 147. Yeah. For people who don't know boxing, they don't understand those things. So basically, just like what Canelo does now, is
Got bigger, huh?
people will say, well, he fights these bigger fighters. But in that clause, what he does is he puts rehydration
Oh.
things in the clause where the fighter cannot, his opponent can't rehydrate past a certain point.
Wow. So he doesn't fight a bigger man.
Oh, no, no, no. A lot of times they're drained.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's that. Yeah. Again, if you're into the sport, you know it. When people don't, it's kind of like, well, why does when this person fought this person, they knocked him out in 2 rounds, but when blah 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 fought the same person in like 12. Well,
He need more with more than 5 shots. 6 shots. Damn, dude. Damn. For 6. What's the name? Kept on going back to that too. Also, two. Is it 2 losing? They dropped 2 on DePaul. They kept going back to it. I thought that was a good move. So I said, that's good. They 2-3 something.
but with who?
Big. He's tall enough to pass out to them. Out to them.
Is he skilled enough?
I don't know.
And who's the pass it to?
I thought they already could have kept on putting William in there. Not Caleb. Not
No,
not.
I thought when they had the long stretch with Burks, I thought they would stay there until.
They say it was too long. You think?
Yeah, and Curtis was sitting on that.
Hurts just doesn't give him nothing consistent.
He was mad because the 2 previous times down the floor, he thought they should have thrown him loose. I saw him. And then the next time he touched the ball was when he took that dipsticky 3 that he should have never had taken.
Yeah.
Because he was in his feels about not getting the ball the previous 2 days. It's just immaturity.
Very immature.
It's immaturity.
Very immature.
That's why you can't play him. You can only play him so many minutes.
Yeah, he's not there. Oh, good. One of my shooters, Maddie, she's a big UConn fan, and now she done shot him with Georgetown and went up there and all that. Well, I got her in. And now she said she remembered me from Big East tournament, and now we're connected on a page that she loves. Yeah.
You know, she always works out in Ashburn.
Buck Beckers? Yeah.
When
Where's
it's
she
the
from,
off-season.
bro?
I know she works out at Elite Moments.
Really?
She's from Minnesota?
She's from Minnesota?
I thought.
Okay.
But
She can play basketball.
She's in there all during the off-season. She's in there all the time.
She is a very good player.
When healthy.
When healthy. She's a very good player.
If you walk into that place, you can see women from college basketball, all the professional soccer leagues. A lot of those women, that's where they train.
So it's like a women's spot?
It's
Oh,
for
okay.
everybody. Your boy works out.
Who?
Well, he used to work
Who?
out there. Your boy Benny used to work out there.
You know women work out nowhere.
Before, what's his name? Because what's his name was paying for it. Back in the day, Thomas.
Will Thomas take him back?
Only if he plays with Thomas. Same thing with Rondo. The kid that scored the 51 points.
Yeah,
or something,
yeah.
That's the kid I told you Thomas was never got in July. He's the Durant kid. He's the Boo kid. Because he's mad with his father.
to that shit again? Yeah.
Because
What
he's
it is
mad.
subjection. You subjecting yourself to some bullshit, bro.
I helped you. I felt like I was helping kids.
You were. No, that's what
I'm-
Franklin and them,
I'm
they'll tell you that
educated.
shit.
I'm exhausted.
It's just too much bullshit.
Yeah, he wanted when Boo, when the 16s didn't qualify for Peach Jam,
Yeah.
his coach called Thomas and said, I want him to play for Coach Wash in July. I've already cleared it with Boo. Thomas said, oh, I don't feel like our 16s need him.
What the fuck is wrong with him, man?
Because he's angry with his dad.
That's a petty dude.
He don't know I know that because the coach called me. He said, hey man, I want Will to play with you in July. He said, Thomas wouldn't take him.
Damn. It's crazy. And it all benefits him. Don't know that?
And then the other night when I saw you had 51 in 17 minutes.
You should have faxed me. You should have texted me, man. This is what you ain't want.
It's just
What is wrong with you?
It's idiocy.
The idiocy. It's idiocy, man. It's like a little banana republic leader or something.
It's whatever.
Backwards bullshit.
It's like working for the federal government. And I always say this. If it was for profit, how those guys use up resources and stuff, they wouldn't have a job for a year because you're burning through the money. But when it's not for profit, then they burn through the money and then they just say, well, you just gotta take less profit or you gotta let it off. You gotta ask, like 1 year they asked the entire contract company for give back. They wanted 5% give back when we said.
So the people we supposed to give them out of y'all pockets.
Because of what's called overrun in transition.
That doesn't have anything to do with the workers though.
And they said 5% or we can find somebody to replace you.
Wow.
Yep.
Y'all's employees said
Yes.
that shit.
Yes.
Somebody got a sheet?
Yeah.
Do you know which player or not?
No player.
All right, guys. Well, it was, we're new here, but it was a long time coming for DePaul basketball here to get a Big East win. So I feel really good and happy for my president who's here and my AD who's here to enjoy this one. And really happy for our guys, really happy for our players. And, Ed is a good friend and a phenomenal coach. I think he's one of the best coaches in the country. And he was shorthanded tonight, but I tell you, we knew his team was going to fight and, do what they do, compete. He's done an unbelievable job with this program in such a short time, and I got immense respect for him. So for us, I just am really happy for our players, and our staff, but our players who have been really close on 3 of these right now. Not as close on the other 4, but 3 of them really close. And I'm just really pleased that they can feel the rewards of a win.
On that front, just to turn around from Tuesday to do this, I mean, that had to be able to get the immediate result had to be pretty gratifying.
Yeah, it's a good point because I think we were a little deflated after the Seton Hall loss, and it was hard to get our guys back. And we talked about needing to respond quicker to another overtime loss that was difficult and tough to take. What we really tried to focus on with them and what we have tried to focus is the quality of our play, regardless of the results. What can we control? The quality of our play, the quality of our possessions, the quality of our performance we can control. And if that's good enough on a given night, great. If it's not, that's going to have to be okay too. So we really try to focus on the quality of play.
And what was kind of the key for you guys working against Peavy, who's obviously had a lot more success for the season than he did tonight?
Defensively or offensively? Both, really. We tried to stay away from him offensively, as far away from him as possible. He is such a menace on the ball. His length, his size, his ball pressure, his physicality. He's such a good player. He and Mac are just terrific ads. You add him with, their big fella who was out tonight. It's just there's no it's not a surprise they're as good as they are, and I think they're good at full strength. So offensively we tried to keep him away from the ball as much as we could, or screen to get him off the ball, and we tried to keep him in front of us as much as possible.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Georgetown does like to switch, and a lot of times it seemed like, especially in the first half, you were able to attack Mac in all of those switches. Yeah. And even down the stretch where it wasn't a switch situation, your guard backed them in. Was that an attack that you thought that you could get when you guys were doing your scout?
It was one that we felt like was the best option at that time. He's such a good offensive player. And he's got really quick hands. He's really good with his hands. So you have to protect the ball around him. But he's just not as big as their other wings. So we did post him one time late, and I felt good about the look that Jacob Meyer got there. but they have limited. They're the second best defensive team in the league, so there's limited ways you can attack this team because they're typical of an Ed Cooley team. They're tough, they're physical, they're really well coached defensively. So, were we trying to attack him? We were trying to stay away from some of the other guys. Probably the best way of saying it.
And when you found out that there was going to be some limitations, without having Sorghum and stuff like that, just in game, did you change anything, or did you just go ahead and just go with what you guys had prepared for?
It's a good question because you hear it 10 minutes before the game starts, and they're two important players. They do have a little more guard depth, so the big fella being out was like your whole game plan was set up around the big fella, our whole game plan. So that's why one of the reasons we started our big kid tonight, because we felt like it was a better matchup. So for us, we did have to adjust a little bit and play maybe a little bit differently. But then once the game got going and I got a feel for how Ed was, I thought how he was going to attack us, which is a lot off the bounce and spread us out. I did feel like we needed to play, a good fair amount of zone.
Coach, you have several members of your staff who have head coaching experience themselves. How much of a boost do you feel like that gives you with situations like that where the game plan kind of changes 10 minutes before, or also in late game situations like tonight?
Well, they all have a role, and I think I didn't add any of them specifically for that reason. I added them all because they're terrific people, they're good coaches, and they wanted to be a part of this DePaul rebuild. So it's always good to be able to lean on other voices in moments like that, for sure.
Talk about utilizing your 2 defense regularly, particularly down the stretch. What was its impact?
Well, I was worried about keeping the ball in front, and I was also worried about rebounding. So, we switched to go man some. The thing I've learned coaching against Ed is he'll pick on matchups and exploit matchups, I think, as good as anybody in the country. So the zone can neutralize that a little bit because he's so good at saying, this guy, you can back cut this guy, you can post this guy, and he's got a playbook that's longer than anybody we play against.
Coming into the game, they've struggled with duck ends, post entry. Did you notice that, and what did you do to make it hard for them to do so today?
It's not a big part of our game is posting up. But we did try to throw it in there some and post them up for sure.
I mean, them, though. They had trouble with the duck ends all year, duck ends and post up. And they didn't do well today with it.
Oh, you mean their bigs posting up? Yeah. No, I think some of that is, they've got some youth on the front line too. We forget like that's a sophomore starting, freshman, big, who's one of the best freshmen in the country, but he's still a freshman big.
Hey, Coach. You started out by talking about friends who are coaches. I was just curious how close you are to Ryan Day, and do you think he's going to be a national champion in 48 hours?
Ryan Day's one of the best people I know, and he's one of the very best coaches that I've seen and been around. And I would like nothing more than Ryan, his staff, and players to win a national championship on Monday night. I'm not here to make a prediction. But if there's one guy, one staff, and one program that deserves it and has earned it, I think it's them, and I'm excited to watch it. He's a hell of a guy.
Any other questions? Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Right, that's my point. Right, exactly.
Well, Coach Sharp, no opening statement.
Obviously, very, very disappointed in the loss. Congratulations to DePaul. I know they've been knocking at the door now for about a month with their team. Very, very happy. Coach Holtman's in our league, does a great job. His kids played hard and deserved the win. So, credit to them. Right? They came into our building. Obviously, our injuries are really catching up to us here. We haven't had our unit on the floor since December 14th. There's no excuses. We didn't stop playing till about the 30-minute mark of the game. So for 30 minutes, we were bullshitting. We missed screens. We missed opportunities. We didn't communicate, right? And again, we had lineups on the floor that we just haven't even had in practice, given the late news we got, with our injuries. No excuses. We got to be better. Again, they made timely shots. Hopefully we can get healthy quick. Again, this was our fourth game in 12 days, and then we have a really quick turnaround again. We got to go to Villanova, so we'll have a quick, scout, walk through, practice Sunday, and then head to Philadelphia to face a team. I don't know if they won a loss today, but we'll be playing on the road. They did win, right? So I got to pick my players up, right? We're beat up. We've lost 4 in a row, right? And we've been there in every single one of them. We could have easily won 4 games in a row, and that's the league. That's the Big East, right? Hopefully we can get to the foul line a little bit more, right? There was some questionable things out there that I didn't agree with, time and score, but that's the way the ball bounces sometimes. We got to do a better job. I thought our kids played hard for 10 minutes. That's it. I thought we played hard for 10 minutes, and that got us into the game, but it didn't get us over the hump, and everything had to work out well in order for us to try to get a win here, right? I appreciate everybody that showed up. A Friday night game I love here. Love the Friday night games, right? Right now we got to be caretakers of the program right now and make sure our kids feel that it's okay, right? It's okay to fail a little bit, but now we got to respond after losing our 4th effing game in a row. So it's a little disturbing.
Ed, how close do you think both Jaden and Thomas
I don't know. I really don't. Honestly, I hope they're closer than close. But I honestly don't know because they're both not there right now.
For both Caleb and Drew, just how challenging is it to try to adjust without a couple guys like that? I know you guys have had guys moving in and out, but to be down those 2 guys, what has that adjustment period been like, and does that explain some of the sluggishness and whatnot in the first 30 minutes tonight?
Yeah, got to figure it out. We got some guys regardless, but just collectively we didn't do our job tonight. But got to bounce back. All that matters is the response. So back to it.
Marcus.
Hey, Coach, you talked about some lineups that haven't been played this year. Did that kind of explain the miscommunications on defense sometimes? Because it seems like there was communication some after the fact.
Yeah,
after
6
something was
lefts in
wrong.
the first half on the screen. We were switching in that situation. We didn't switch. There was some lack of communication. And it's chemistry, when guys haven't played collectively together in competition, we have in practice, but in practice it's more controlled, right? And again, this is also something for players. I always tell them you never know when opportunity is going to knock. People are going to get hurt. People are going to get sick. Things happen in their lives. And this is a message for all men and women out there that, when injuries happen and things happen, you then gain the trust of your coaches and of your teammate when you're able to go out and perform at a level that wasn't expected, right? We'll give them the Wally Pipp story. You just never know. You just never know when your time's going to be called, and that's where you gain trust from the overall organization. And I thought a couple of our guys responded, but still some left some to be discussed in the coaches' meeting.
Speaking of switches, do you feel like that they hunted out the switch with Malik in the first half? Because it did seem like there was multiple times he got caught under the basket on a big.
It was 2. It was 2. And again, it's you're not going to be perfect when you have 24 hours to try to put a different game plan together. You know what I mean? Overall, we got it to where we needed to with a minute to play, a minute 5 to play, down 2 with the ball. In this situation here, you're missing your top 2 scorers. Right? Again, we haven't had the same lineup since December 14th. That's the last time those 5 guys were on the floor at once with some chemistry. So, yeah, there's going to be some things that don't happen well, and I'm going to have to live with it and move on.
And for you, Drew, a lot of minutes tonight, probably the most you've played since you've been here, and you were producing. Just how did it feel like tonight, just having those minutes and the ability to get into a rhythm?
Felt good, but I was just trying to do my job, trying to do what I could to help the team win when I'm given an opportunity. But it doesn't mean much to me when we lose. So that's the ultimate goal. That's why I play basketball. So you know, it doesn't matter. It'll win.
Let's go right over here.
Hey Coach, Ben Bliss from La Jolla. So we went down 21-9 about 10 minutes into the game, and we were shorthanded, but it's uncertain the return for Epps and Sorber. So I was wondering, with Villanova coming up, we can't have another half like that. You can't start a game off like that, even if you are shorthanded. What's your plan to prevent that?
Well, I mean, you can't predict what's going to happen. If that was the case, none of us would be sitting here, right? You got to put your kids in place to have success, right? Take away some of their strengths. I think the best thing we can do is communicate better. I thought our overall communication was poor for 30 minutes. And you can see the real defensive Georgetown team showed up the last 10 minutes of the game. And I don't know what we outscored them, but it was really hard for them to see the basket. Like, you got to figure they scored 8 points in the last 2 minutes with under 5 seconds on the shot clock, one of which was game, set, match at the buzzer, right, where the kid hit the three. It goes from 2 to 5 after a turnover that we had. So I'm proud of our guys. I'm really proud of our guys. I mean, we have one of the best defensive teams in the country, and it was hodgepodge. It's been hodgepodge since December 14th. So as frustrating as it may be, I can't give you a straight answer with respect to what we're going to do other than what we do and how we do it when we go to Villanova. Hopefully we can learn from the mistakes that we've made.
Coach, talk about your the development of your full court pressure package. You were able to get into the game, and it looks like you're improving on those multiple pressures.
Yeah, you know, you got to pick your time, and your time and places with it. We felt it was a vulnerable spot, against them, and our energy, the building energy, helped us for sure. I appreciated our crowd today. They helped us more than they know, so I'm very, very grateful for them, and hopefully they're not as discouraged as I am today. Right, to come back and continue to support these men, because even though we didn't win, I thought we played hard. I thought we tried to play together. We just came up short, given that we didn't have some of our mainstays, so to speak, on the floor. Excuse me.
I feel you guys kind of struggle with the post entry and the duck ins. What's your role in that? How can you make that better?
I mean, it's on both the passer and the player posting, but I mean, we rep that every day. It's just about clearing them out, fake one to make one, but I mean, just gotta keep working on it, gotta keep focusing on it. But we're capable, so just straight back to work. Can't dwell on it. We got a really good group of guys, gotta get healthy and learn how to get back on the winning side.
John Tysell?
Coach, I was wondering, on Monday, do you or the team have any plans to do anything special for Martin Luther King Day, or because you have a game at 6 o'clock, that has to take priority, or something else?
It was my request through the league to play on Martin Luther King Day. I think Georgetown should play on that day every time in the Capitol, right? Obviously, we can't play on that day because of the political side here, but I think it's just something special and bring light nationally where Georgetown can be a leader when you talk about justice, injustice, in what MLK did to open up opportunities for many young men and women who were underserved and looked at a different way. It's definitely something that I wanted to do, something that the league, I'm grateful for, was able to do. And when you look at the impact that MLK had over many of our lives, the generation of lives, his dream is coming true with me just speaking to you today. So I'm grateful for that. And that puts things in perspective. As pissed off as I am about losing today, I'm very grateful for the sacrifice that many of those civil rights advocates did to give us opportunity when we were held out, when we were told we were less than. My answer to them today is many of you work for us.
Anyone else?
I appreciate it.
Thank you.